Facebook lets you create 500 of these things. So that begs the question, how big should these audiences be? What's the target size here? What are we looking at? Well, I asked Melissa about this, and here's what she had to say.
Okay, so I've got, this is sort of like a two-parter. So when you first implemented like custom audiences or really started exploring it, and this could be pre-ActiveCampaign, were there immediate results that you saw?
Well, I think this is a hard thing. It's an interesting question because I'm teaching people how to do marketing. Right. I always say to them, it's slow burn at first, because your marketing, your Facebook ads, the results you get are only as good as the data you hold. So when they don't have a lot of data, maybe they've got a list of 100 people who they've worked with, or, their data is going to be looser. 100 people isn't a lot to give to Facebook. So They have to give them that. And then they can add in people who visited their website in the last 6 months and people who've interacted with their social media. So they might scrape together a custom direct audience of about 500-600 people, maybe. They're not getting a lot of website traffic. And that's still not a lot to give Facebook to go on if you're going to then generate lookalike ads. So, so you can also try some interest-based ads. So, but it's interesting. Once your list gets to about, I'd say 2,000 people, it's almost like a tipping point where suddenly you've got enough data that it's more accurate. And then once you've got 2,000 or 3,000 people, you can start culling people off who aren't helping because they're distorting the audience. Right. And when you first get to 2,000, you're like, I don't want to cull 1,000 of them. You've just worked so hard to get them. Right. It's really hard. Like now, I been off 5,000 people and I don't mind about it. But I remember back in the day, I'm like, I don't want to lose a single person. And he was like, you have to, they're not helping. So yes. It is hard at the beginning. I think in my experience, 2,000 is around the tipping point for starting to get some serious traction with lookalike audiences.
Okay.
All right. So a few thousand is where she started to see the difference. But is this the golden rule of thumb? Probably not, because every audience and every business is different. Now, as we know, and as is the case with all things marketing, it depends. However, one thing is clear. The minimum that Facebook requires is 100, and that's not going to get you very far. Let's hear what Amanda has to say about that.
You mentioned something there that I want to come back to, which was the 1,000 individual in the audience threshold that Facebook sets. Do you find that is sort of a threshold that you cross where you can start getting maybe more out of your audience or learning more about the demographics of your audience? Is that the sweet spot that Facebook is actually like kind of hit it on the nose, or do you find that is a different number?
I think the purpose of the under 1,000 helps Facebook keep everything anonymous. When us as advertisers, we can't see the individuals. We don't have data on exactly who is watching our videos or exactly who is interacting and engaging with our brand. So by keeping that threshold at 1,000 or more, it's less identifying information. So we're not able to see, 5 people saw our video and we knew exactly which 5 we served it to, for example. Right. So I think it helps keep the data a little more anonymous. Plus, if it's under 1,000, it depends on the nature of the audience, but it may not be enough for you to start retargeting. It might not be the best use of your budget. You're going to have too small of an audience and you're going to exhaust them too quickly. And when I say exhaust an audience, if you are serving an audience, say I had 100 people who have visited my website, and I decided that I wanted to serve ads to those 100 people and retarget them. It's a very small audience. What's going to happen is that my ads don't have that many people to be shown to. It's just chasing around those 100 people. Those ads are going to show multiple impressions. We're going to be hitting those people 6, 7, 8 times across Facebook and Instagram and Marketplace and all of the different placements that these ads could be shown. And people are going to get tired of them very quickly. They're going to get annoyed. It's kind of like swatting a fly. Like, okay, leave me alone, until they get to the point where they click on hide ad or hide all ads. And for you as an advertiser, that is the worst black mark on you possible, because your ads are delivering based on the algorithm popularity. So how popular is that content? How high quality is that content when it goes up in competition against other advertisers also going after the exact same audience of you? So when it comes to putting those ads out there, if they're not high quality and if people are getting annoyed, then they're not very well favored with the algorithm. They don't have a lot of momentum to them. They're heavier, they cost more to move, and you're going to be losing out in the auction. So having ads that when you exhaust an audience, it's actually quite detrimental to all the hard work that you've put in to attract that audience, to attract those website visitors. So when you have a small number of people on your warm audience list, on your custom audiences, it's not ideal to go out and start retargeting right away. Now, with that said, you can still use your custom audiences for a retargeting strategy, even if they are small, if you have a very conservative budget that you're matching up with it and you're running it alongside a campaign that's continuing to fill up the bucket of new people. For example, you can have a website visitors list, and instead of targeting website visitors up to 180 days, 6 months, that's the maximum amount of time you can retarget a website visitor. You can create a custom audience of website visitors in the past 7 days. And then you can chase those people around with a $1 a day strategy. So everyone who's been to your website in the last 7 days, have $1 a day running and retarget anyone who's been to your website to try and get them to come back or complete the sale or move further through your funnel. So that's one strategy. You can run that alongside other campaigns at the same time. But if you have under 1,000 website visitors and you're going out with a $500 ad campaign and you're just trying to retarget the heck out of these people, they're going to get exhausted, and exhausting an audience is not ideal.
No, for sure. As you were saying that, it's funny, ActiveCampaign is an email service provider. We see a lot of the same things just, on the channel of email, right? So it's, you have your entire list, you have all the people that might be in your custom audiences. Are you going to send them all an email every time? Or like you said, you take a little bit more of a conservative strategy, segment them out a little bit, set that time parameter, and then kind of chase them with a targeted message.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. You want to let those audiences grow a bit so that you've got a good pool of people to advertise to. Otherwise, you might annoy them or exhaust them, as Amanda said. Now, remember, Facebook ads to custom audiences are ads for people who have encountered your business before. Now, that might differ based on the audience that you're targeting, but the fact remains the same. You want to send the right message to the right person at the right time. You don't want to send the right message to the right person all the time.
Hi, thank you for watching. If you are enjoying Growth Decoded, you can find a link in the description to sign up and join the Grow team. You'll get exclusive content and opportunities that have to do with the show. You can also hit the subscribe button for ActiveCampaign's YouTube channel somewhere down here, and you will never miss an update from us.